The rain was falling hard that night, turning the landing field into rivers of mud. The lights of the city looked far away, small and cold in the distance. Evan, a single human dad, finished his janitor shift late as always. His hands were tired, his uniform soaked, and his thoughts were only about going home to his little daughter, Lily. She would be waiting with her tiny blanket, asking for another bedtime story. But tonight felt different. Something strange hung in the air. As Evan walked past the empty field, he heard a faint sound like someone crying. It wasn't human. It was weak, broken, and filled with fear. He stopped listening again. The sound came from near the old cargo area, where abandoned alien pods were stored. Most people avoided that place, but Evan's heart told him to go. He stepped carefully through the rain, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. The sound grew clearer now, a voice whispering, trembling, "Please." "Don't hurt me. I can't walk." Evan froze. That voice wasn't just scared, it was begging. He moved closer and saw something lying near a crashed pod. It was a shape, large, heavy, covered in metallic blue skin and soaked with rain. When his light hit the figure, he gasped. It was a woman. Not human, but alien. Her body was huge, her face bruised, her breathing shallow. She tried to lift her arm, but couldn't. Her eyes, glowing faintly silver, looked at him in terror. Evan took a step back, shocked. He had seen aliens before, tall, perfect creatures who walked with pride. But this one looked broken. She was obese, scarred, and clearly abandoned. Her ship was half buried in mud, smoke still rising from it. "Please," she whispered again. "Don't hurt me. I can't move." Evan's mind raced. He could run. He could call the patrol. He could pretend he never saw her. But something inside him, something human, stopped him. He took a deep breath and said softly, "Hey, I'm not going to hurt you." The alien flinched, her whole body shaking. You are human," she said weakly. "They said humans destroy everything they touch." Evan knelt beside her, ignoring the cold rain soaking through his clothes. "Maybe they're wrong," he said, his voice calm. He noticed a wound on her leg, deep, burning with green fluid. He tore a piece of his shirt and pressed it gently against it. She cried out in pain. Why are you helping me?" "Because you need it," Evan said simply. Lightning flashed in the sky, revealing the full wreck of her ship. The symbol of the Valari Empire was marked on the side, one of the most powerful alien factions known. What was she doing here alone? Evan tried to help her sit up, but she was too heavy. Her body trembled with every breath. She looked at him again, her eyes wide and wet with tears. "They left me," she said softly. "They said I was useless, too heavy to join the transport fleet. I begged them not to leave me here." Evan swallowed hard. The thought of anyone being left behind like that made his chest hurt. "You're not useless," he said, trying to lift her again. "Come on, I'll get you out of this rain." She tried to protest, but her voice broke. "You'll be punished for touching me." Evan smiled faintly, though his hands shook from cold. "Well, I've already touched you. Guess I'm in trouble now." For the first time, the alien gave a weak, shaky laugh. It took all of Evan's strength to get her up. He used an old hover cart from the nearby shed and rolled her onto it carefully. Her breathing slowed as she passed out, whispering one last thing before losing consciousness. "My name, Tara." Evan looked at her face, so tired, so full of pain, and whispered, "You'll be safe now, Tara." As he pushed the cart through the storm toward his home, lightning flashed again. Up in the sky, several small lights blinked through the clouds, search drones. The Valari were looking for something, maybe for her. Evan looked back once more, his heart pounding. He didn't know what kind of danger he was bringing home. But he knew one thing. He couldn't leave her out there to die. And in that single, quiet act of mercy, he started something that would shake two worlds forever. The storm had quieted by the time Evan reached his small home on the city's edge. The world outside was still dripping wet, glowing with soft blue lights from the passing patrol ships. He pushed the hover cart carefully toward his garage, afraid that anyone might see the unconscious alien lying on it. Inside the dim light of the garage, the alien woman, Tara, looked peaceful for the first time. Her breathing had steadied, though her skin still showed dark bruises. Evan covered her with an old blanket and stood there staring. What had he just done? He had brought an alien into his home, someone the Valari Empire might be hunting. Just then, the door creaked open, and a small voice called out, "Dad?" Lily, his 8-year-old daughter, peeked in, rubbing her sleepy eyes. Her tiny figure stood in the doorway holding her stuffed bear. Evan quickly moved toward her. "Go back to bed, sweetie," he whispered. She blinked at the cart behind him. "Who's that?" Evan sighed. There was no way to hide it now. "She's hurt. I found her in the field. She needs help." Lily's eyes widened. "Is she one of them?" "Yes," Evan said quietly. "But she's not like the others. She's scared." Lily looked at Tara again, her childlike curiosity stronger than her fear. "She looks sad," she said softly. Evan smiled weakly. "That's why we're going to help her." He carried Tara carefully inside, laying her on the couch. The alien groaned weakly as the warmth of the room touched her skin. Her silver eyes flickered open, confused and afraid. "Where am I?" she whispered. "You're safe," Evan said gently. "You're in my home." Her gaze darted around the small living room, faded curtains, broken furniture, a small heater trying its best to fight the cold. She seemed puzzled. "You risk your home for me?" Evan nodded. "I couldn't just leave you there." Tara tried to move but winced, gripping the edge of the couch. Her body shook with pain. "I shouldn't be here. My people will come for me. If they find me here, they'll kill you." Evan placed a warm cup of water near her hand. "Then we'll make sure they don't." Lily stepped closer, still clutching her bear. "Hi," she said softly. "I'm Lily. What's your name?" The alien looked at her with surprise. Her voice was faint but gentle. "Tara." "Hi, Tara," Lily said with a shy smile. "You can have my blanket if you're cold." Tara stared at her, this little human offering comfort to someone her people called primitive. Her heart trembled. "You're kind," she said quietly. Evan cleaned the wound on her leg using his basic first aid kit. Each time the cloth touched her skin, she flinched but didn't protest. "Your body's healing fast," he said. "Guess your species has strong recovery." Tara nodded weakly. "But I'm weak now. My legs cannot carry me anymore. They called me the burden of the fleet. They said I was too heavy to move fast, too slow to fight." Evan looked at her in disbelief. "They left you behind for that?" She turned away. "In our world, perfection is everything. I was never perfect." Silence filled the room for a moment. Only the sound of rain tapping against the window could be heard. Then Lily whispered, "My mom used to say no one is perfect, but she was beautiful anyway." Tara blinked, looking at the little girl with something like wonder. She didn't remember the last time someone spoke to her without disgust. As the night deepened, Evan brought her some food, a simple bowl of soup. She hesitated at first, then slowly took a spoonful. The warmth spread through her chest, and for a brief second she smiled. "I have never eaten something like this," she said softly. "Simple human food," Evan said. "Nothing fancy." "Simple," Tara repeated, staring into the bowl. "But good." Later, when Lily finally fell asleep beside the couch, Evan sat near the window watching the sky. Distant flashes of blue light moved like searching eyes. Alien patrols. They were close. Tara noticed his worried face. "You should not risk your child for me," she said. "They will destroy you if they find out you helped one of us." Evan didn't look away from the window. "Then they'll have to destroy me," he said quietly, "because I won't hand over someone who needs help." Tara stared at him for a long moment. No one had ever spoken like that to her. Her people believed humans were selfish, violent, greedy. But this man, this simple janitor, was proving them wrong. She whispered, "Maybe your kind are not as weak as they say." Evan smiled faintly. "Maybe your kind just never took the time to know us." Outside, thunder rolled across the horizon, hiding the distant hum of alien ships. Inside that small house, something new had begun, something that would change Tara's life forever. Days passed since Tara had arrived at Evan's small home, and the rain outside had finally stopped. The air was fresh, the ground still soft, and the faint hum of alien patrols could still be heard late at night. Evan had managed to hide Tara from everyone, but he knew it couldn't last forever. He spent the next morning clearing space in the old basement, dusty, cold, and full of forgotten boxes. "This will be safer," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "They won't find you here." Tara looked around with tired eyes. "You built this?" "For me?" Evan nodded. "You need rest. You need peace." She lowered her head. "No one ever built anything for me before." Down in the basement, the light was dim but warm. Evan placed a heater near her bed, some blankets, and even an old hollow lamp so she wouldn't feel trapped in darkness. It wasn't much, but it was hers. That night, as Evan worked late cleaning the city's supply stations, Lily sneaked down to the basement with a small plate in her hands. "I brought you cookies," she said softly. Tara blinked in surprise. "Cookies?" "They're sweet," Lily smiled. "Dad says too much sugar is bad, but I think one is okay." Tara took one carefully, sniffing it first like she wasn't sure what it was. She tasted it, and her eyes widened. "It's strange," she said, chewing slowly. "Soft and happy." Lily giggled. "Food can't be happy." Tara tilted her head. "This one is." It was the first real smile that had touched Tara's face since she crashed. The little girl laughed too, and soon both were talking quietly. About Earth, about the stars, about how Lily missed her mother. When Evan came home, he found both of them sitting together. Tara was teaching Lily how to write her name in the Valeri language, beautiful curved symbols glowing softly on the floor. Evan leaned against the wall, smiling. It was strange, almost unreal. An alien warrior teaching his daughter how to write in peace. But that peace was fragile. That night, when Evan went to throw out the trash, he saw a small silver drone hovering near the street corner. It blinked blue, scanning the area. His heart froze. He rushed back inside and locked the door. Tara looked up, sensing his fear. "They are close, aren't they?" "Yes," Evan whispered. "They're scanning this sector. I saw their patrol drone." Her shoulders slumped. "You should give me up," she said quietly. "If they find me here, they'll punish you. Maybe even take your daughter." Evan shook his head. "Not happening. You're safe here. I made a promise." "But why?" Tara asked, confused. "Why risk so much for someone who is not even your kind?" Evan looked at her, his expression calm but firm. "Because no one deserves to be thrown away, not even by their own people." The alien's eyes glistened. She looked down at her trembling hands and whispered, "In my world, weakness means death. They said I was weak, but you see something else?" "Yeah," Evan said softly. "I see someone who just needs a chance." Over the next few days, he started helping her move again. Her legs were still swollen and heavy, but he taught her small steps, one at a time. He'd hold her arm and say, "Try again, Tara, you can do this." At first, she failed every time, but Evan never gave up, and neither did Lily. Slowly, her strength returned. Each day, she walked a little farther. Each day, she laughed a little more. Still, she often sat near the small basement window at night, looking up at the stars. "They're out there," she said one evening. "My people. They think I'm dead." Evan stood beside her. "Maybe that's for the best." She turned to him. "And if they find me?" He hesitated. "Then I'll stand between you and them." Tara stared at him, confused again. "You are strange, human. You protect like a warrior, but you speak with kindness." Evan chuckled. "Guess that's what makes us human." Lily, who had been listening, smiled and added, "Dad always says kindness makes us strong." That made Tara smile too. Her eyes softened, her heart lighter. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a burden. But peace is never forever. Late one night, a faint vibration filled the house. Tara's skin glowed faintly, reacting to something unseen. She gasped, standing up with effort. "They're near," she whispered. "My people are near." Evan grabbed his jacket. "Stay here. I'll check." He stepped outside, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Across the road, a strange mark was burning on the ground, circular, glowing blue, a landing beacon. Someone, or something, had found her trail. Evan's heart raced as he ran back inside. "Tara!" he shouted. "We need to move now." The alien looked terrified. "They won't stop this time." Evan clenched his fists. "Then neither will I." And with that, the janitor and the alien he saved prepared to vanish. Together. The night was too quiet. Too still. Even the wind outside seemed to hold its breath. Evan had packed a few things, food, clothes, a few tools from his janitor job, and quietly loaded them into his old cleaning truck. Tara sat on the edge of the basement bed, her large hands trembling slightly. She could feel it deep inside her body, the faint vibration of Valeri scanners moving closer. "They're here," she whispered. Evan looked up sharply. "How can you tell?" "My kind can feel the energy of our ships," she said, pressing her hand to her chest. "They are near, maybe just a few kilometers away?" Evan glanced at the window. The soft blue glow of a search drone moved across the distant sky. It wasn't safe anymore, he turned to Tara. We have to move now. I know a place outside the city, an old power station. No one goes there anymore, Tara hesitated. If they catch us, they will kill you. Evan grabbed his bag and said, then I'll make sure they don't. He helped her up, wrapping her in a large coat to hide her glowing skin. Each step she took was slow, painful, but determined. When they reached the truck, Lily was already waiting in the front seat, clutching her stuffed bear. Daddy, are we running away? She asked quietly. Evan nodded. Just for a while, honey. We'll be safe soon. Tara looked at the child with guilt. I never wanted this danger for you. Lily smiled softly. You didn't bring danger. You brought stories. That made Tara pause. Stories. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. The truck's old engine rumbled to life and they rolled out into the dark road, moving fast through the empty streets. The city lights faded behind them, replaced by forests and shadows. The road curved through old industrial ruins, places humans had abandoned long ago. When they finally reached the old power station, the building stood tall and broken under the moonlight. Cracked walls, shattered glass, and wild vines crawling up its sides. Evan parked behind a fallen tower. We'll stay here for the night, he said. He helped Tara inside and found a room with a working generator. The faint hum filled the air again. Tara sat against the wall, her breathing heavy, while Lily spread her small blanket on the ground. This place feels sad, Lily said quietly. It used to power half the city, Evan replied. Now it's just forgotten? Tara looked up at him. Like me. He stopped, looking at her. No, he said firmly. You're not forgotten anymore. There was silence for a moment, broken only by the sound of rain dripping from the roof. Tara stared at Evan, trying to understand him. In her world, kindness always came with a price. But this human, he asked for nothing. Why do you keep helping me? She asked softly. You could have left me to die. Evan sat beside her, his back against the cold wall. Because someone once helped me when I had nothing. My wife died when Lily was just a baby. I thought I couldn't go on. But a stranger gave me a job, a place to stay, and a reason to live again. I promised myself, if I ever found someone who needed help, I'd do the same. Tara listened quietly, her eyes reflecting the dim light. You have lost much, yet you still give. Evan smiled faintly. That's what keeps us human. Outside, a sudden flash of blue light filled the sky. The hum of a Volari drone echoed through the night. Tara's eyes widened. They found us. Evan rushed to the window. A large patrol ship hovered in the distance, scanning the ground with bright beams. How fast can you move? He asked. Tara tried to stand. Not fast enough, he pulled her arm gently. Then I'll carry you, Lily gasped. Daddy, there's light outside. Evan turned. The drone had spotted their vehicle. Its scanner locked on with a sharp beep. A voice echoed through the air in a metallic tone. Unauthorized Valeri signature detected. Prepare for extraction. Tara's heart pounded. They won't stop, Evan. They will destroy this place to get me. Then we run, Evan said, grabbing Lily's hand. He led them down through the lower levels of the building. The air grew damp and cold as they entered a long tunnel beneath the floor, a maintenance passage once used to carry power cables. Above them, the roar of engines shook the walls. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Lily held onto Tara's hand tightly. Don't fall, she whispered. I won't, Tara said, her voice trembling. Not this time. They moved deeper into the darkness, following the faint red light of Evan's flashlight. Every step echoed. Every sound of pursuit grew louder. Finally, Tara stumbled and fell. Her leg gave out completely. Evan rushed to her side. Get up, Tara. You can do this. Tears mixed with the dirt on her face. I can't, she whispered. Evan grabbed her arm, his voice firm. Yes, you can. You're not weak anymore. Something inside her shifted. With a deep breath, she pushed herself up again. When they finally reached the end of the tunnel, they burst out into the open field beyond the station. The city's lights glowed faintly far away. Evan looked back, no sign of the patrol yet. We did it, he said softly. Tara looked at him, her heart heavy with gratitude. You risked everything for me, Evan smiled. And I'd do it again. Above them, the sky flickered with alien lights. The hunt wasn't over yet, but for that one brief moment under the cold starlight, a human and an alien shared something stronger than fear. Hope. The night was alive with noise. Engines roared in the distance and the sharp hum of Valeri drones sliced through the cold air. The once quiet field near the old power station now glowed with blue scanning lights. Evan, carrying his little daughter Lily in one arm and pulling Tara with the other, rushed into the dark forest behind the building. Branches whipped against his face and the wet ground splashed under his boots. Tara stumbled with every step, her heavy legs barely keeping balance. "Keep going," Evan whispered. "We're almost at the tunnels," Tara gasped for air. They won't stop, Evan. Once they mark a target, they chase until it's gone. Then we'll make sure we're not gone," he said firmly, tightening his grip. Behind them, a loud explosion shook the ground. The patrol ship had fired at the station. Blue fire lit the sky, throwing their shadows across the trees. Lily screamed softly and buried her face in her father's shoulder. "It's okay, baby," Evan said, though his own heart was pounding. "We're not letting them take us." They reached an old metal hatch half buried under the earth. Evan pulled it open with a loud creak. A wave of damp air rushed out. "Down here," he said. He helped Tara climb down the ladder first, her weight making the old structure groan. Then he followed with Lily in his arms. The tunnel below was narrow and filled with dripping pipes and rust. The only light came from Evan's flashlight. "This is an old maintenance route," he explained. "It runs under the old districts. I cleaned here years ago when I worked for the city." Tara's eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. "You remember every turn?" "Every single one," he said with a small smile. "Janitors go everywhere people forget exists." They started walking. The sound of their steps echoed through the tunnels, mixing with the distant thunder above. Tara's skin flickered with faint blue light, an involuntary response to fear. "Dim it down," Evan whispered. "Your light could give us away." She closed her eyes and breathed deeply. The glow faded. "I'm sorry. I can't always control it." Lily reached out and touched her hand gently. "You're doing great," she said in her tiny voice. For a moment, Tara smiled. That small touch gave her strength. They moved deeper until the tunnel split into two paths. Evan hesitated. Left leads to the drainage line. Right goes under the old train system. Tara tilted her head, sensing vibrations. "The left one. It's safer. The air is still. No sound of engines." "Then left it is," Evan said. They turned, moving quickly. But before they could go far, a blast of blue light filled the tunnel behind them. The drone had found the hatch. Evan cursed under his breath. "They're in!" Tara's heart raced. "Go, Evan. Take the child and run." He stopped and looked back at her. "I'm not leaving you." "You can't carry both of us," she shouted. He met her eyes, calm but fierce. "Then we both run, or none of us do." The noise grew louder, mechanical wings scraping metal, scanners beeping. Tara's fear changed into something else. She turned toward the glowing blue tunnel and took a deep breath. Her body shimmered as strange marks appeared on her arms, ancient Valeri symbols of defense. Evan stared. "What are you doing?" "Something my people forgot we could do," she said softly. A surge of energy pulsed through her body, lighting up the tunnel with a white-blue glow. The first drone appeared and she raised her hand. A wave of energy burst from her palm, slamming the drone into the wall. Sparks exploded. The tunnel shook, Evan's jaw dropped. "Remind me never to make you mad." Tara smiled faintly. "Go, I'll hold them." Evan shook his head. "No, we're staying together." He grabbed her arm. "We move now." She hesitated but nodded. Together they ran again, the air behind them alive with electric screams and collapsing metal. When they finally reached the end of the tunnel, they emerged near the river, a wide stretch of dark water reflecting the stars. The city lights shimmered far beyond it. Evan set Lily down gently. "We'll follow the river east. The patrols won't scan this far out." Tara collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. Her skin flickered weakly. I can't move anymore." Evan kneeled beside her. "You did enough. You saved us." Tara looked up at him, her silver eyes wet. "You saved me first." The sound of distant engines echoed again. They both turned, watching as the night sky glowed faintly blue in the distance. "They're regrouping," Tara said. "They will come again." Evan looked down at Lily, who was now fast asleep against his coat. He whispered, "Then we'll be ready." Tara looked at him, this human janitor who refused to give up. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like the one who needed saving. She felt like someone who could fight back. In the quiet shadows by the river, As the stars watched silently above, a human father, a brave child, and an abandoned alien forged something unbreakable: trust. And soon, the galaxy would learn that kindness could be more powerful than any empire. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the world in shades of gold and gray. The night's cold mist still lingered in the air, wrapping around the riverbank where Evan, Lily, and Tara had taken shelter. The forest around them was silent, too silent, like nature itself was holding its breath. Evan stood by the water, his boots soaked, watching the faint ripples move across the surface. His tired eyes scanned the sky. He knew it wasn't over. The Valari patrols would come again, and this time they wouldn't stop until they found them. Behind him, Tara sat on a rock, her body trembling from exhaustion. Her legs were swollen and weak, but her spirit stronger than ever. Lily, still half asleep, rested against Tara's arm, holding her stuffed bear tightly. Tara looked at the little girl's peaceful face. "How can she sleep through all this?" she asked softly. Evan smiled tiredly. "Because she trusts us," he said. "That's something worth fighting for." Before Tara could reply, a sudden hum filled the air. The sound grew louder, closer, sharper. Ships. The Valari had found them again. Evan's heart pounded. He grabbed his daughter, hiding her behind an old stone wall near the cliffside. "Stay low and don't move," he said firmly. Tara's silver eyes glowed faintly. "Evan, they've sent more than drones this time. I can sense their warship. It's huge." Evan turned to her. "Then we'll face them here." She looked at him in disbelief. "You can't fight them, Evan, you're human." He smiled faintly. "That's exactly why I will." Moments later, the ground shook as a massive Valari ship descended through the morning fog. Its metal wings cut through the trees, landing hard near the riverbank. Soldiers in silver armor stepped out, tall, sharp, and cold. Their leader, Commander Zevran, stood at the front. His eyes glowed blue as he scanned the area. "Target detected," he said in a deep voice. "The exile is alive." Tara stepped forward, trembling but unafraid. "Zevran, I told you before, I will not return." The commander tilted his head. "You disobeyed the Empire. You contaminated yourself with human contact. You are a disgrace to the Valari name." Evan stepped between them. "You want to talk about disgrace?" he said. "You left her to die because she wasn't perfect." The alien commander sneered. "Silence, human. You know nothing of our ways." Evan didn't move. "Maybe not. But I know right from wrong." The soldiers raised their weapons, their rifles glowing blue. Tara shouted, "Stop! Don't hurt them." "Move aside," Zevran ordered. "You are Valari no longer." Something snapped inside Tara. For so long she had believed she was weak, too slow, too different, too heavy to belong. But this human had risked everything for her. This child had called her family. And now, standing on the edge of the river, she finally understood. She didn't need to be perfect to be powerful. "I am Valari," she said in a trembling but fierce voice. "And I am more than you ever were." The commander's eyes widened. "You dare—" Before he could finish, Tara raised her hands. The air around her began to shimmer. Energy crackled from her skin, forming waves of light. The ground trembled beneath her feet. "Evan, get back," she shouted. Evan grabbed Lily and ducked behind the rocks as Tara released a blinding surge of energy. The shockwave rippled through the air, knocking the Valari soldiers off their feet. Their weapons melted under the heat, their armor glowing red-hot. The commander staggered, his visor cracking. When the light faded, smoke filled the air. Tara collapsed to her knees, gasping for breath. Her skin flickered weakly, her strength nearly gone. Evan ran to her side. "Tara, stay with me." She looked at him, her voice faint. "I had to stop them. I couldn't let them hurt you." He held her hand tightly. "You did it. You saved us." The commander, still alive, crawled toward them, his armor broken. "This isn't over," he growled. Evan stood up, his face hard. "It is now." He kicked the commander's weapon into the river, then turned away. As the smoke cleared, the early sunlight broke through the clouds, shining over the battlefield. Lily peeked out from behind the wall, her small face full of tears and wonder. "Is it over, Daddy?" Evan nodded. "For now, sweetheart." He lifted Tara carefully, carrying her toward the hill overlooking the valley. She was weak but alive. "Rest," he whispered. "You're safe." Tara closed her eyes. "No, Evan," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. "We're safe. Because of you. As the sun rose higher, painting the world in light, the human and the alien stood together. Two souls who had changed each other forever. What started as a rescue had become a rebellion. And soon the stars themselves would hear their story. The sun rose gently over the valley, spreading light over the scorched ground where the battle had taken place. Smoke still curled from the wreckage of the Valeri patrol ship. The air smelled of metal and ash, but also of freedom. Evan sat by the riverbank, his arms wrapped around his daughter Lily, watching the slow ripples move across the water. Behind him, Tara lay resting under a blanket, her breathing calm. Her body was weak, but her wounds were healing faster than any humans ever could. For the first time in days, there was silence. No engines, no scanners, no fear. Just peace. Lily looked up at her father and whispered, "She's going to be okay, right?" Evan smiled faintly. "Yeah, kiddo. She's strong. Stronger than anyone I've ever met." A soft sound came from behind them. Tara was awake. Her silver eyes opened slowly, glowing faintly in the morning light. "You didn't leave me," she said weakly. Evan turned toward her. "You think I'd do that after everything?" She gave a tired laugh. "Most would have." He knelt beside her. "Then it's a good thing I'm not most." She smiled faintly. "Human, you surprise me every time." Days turned into weeks. Evan repaired what little was left of his home, and Tara stayed with them, slowly regaining her strength. Word of what happened spread faster than they expected. At first it was whispers. People in the nearby town spoke of a human who defied the Valeri patrols to save an alien. Then, one morning, military officers arrived, not to arrest them but to talk. A tall woman in uniform introduced herself. "I'm Captain Rhodes, United Earth Command," she said, stepping forward. "You're the man who stood up to a Valeri strike team?" Evan shrugged. "I just helped someone who needed it." The captain smiled. "You did more than that. The galaxy is talking about it. The Valeri commander you defeated, his transmission was broadcast to half their fleet before the ship went down. They saw everything. They saw a human save one of their own." Tara, now standing with the help of a cane, looked stunned. "They saw me defy them." "Yes," Captain Rhodes said. "And they saw you protect humans. It's changing things. Their council is rethinking their laws about imperfection. Your name has become a symbol, Tara." Tara's eyes filled with tears she didn't expect. For so long, she had been called a burden, a failure, a disgrace. And now, across the stars, her name was being spoken with respect. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Looks like you started something big." She looked at him with a gentle smile. "We did. In the following months, things began to change. Human and Valeri diplomats met for the first time in years. Treaties were discussed, not wars. Refugees and exiles, both human and alien, found safety in new colonies built together. Tara became an ambassador of peace between species, though she always refused to wear royal symbols or titles. "I'm no queen," she said once. "I'm just someone who got a second chance." She spent much of her time on Earth, helping scientists understand Valeri technology and helping Valeri learn about humanity's resilience. Evan returned to his work as a janitor, though now everyone in the city greeted him with smiles and respect. Some called him the human who defied the stars. But for him, the greatest honor was coming home to his small family, Lily and Tara. One quiet evening, months later, they all sat together outside their home. The sky was clear, stars bright above them. Lily pointed upward. "Do you think your people are watching, Tara?" Tara nodded slowly. "Yes. And for the first time, I think they're not watching with hate, but with hope." Evan leaned back against the porch railing, gazing at the sky. "Funny," he said. "When I found you that night, I thought I was just saving one life." Tara smiled. "You did more than that. You saved mine, and maybe countless others who will never even know your name." There was a long silence between them, soft, comfortable, filled with understanding. The breeze moved through the trees, carrying the smell of rain and earth. Somewhere far above, ships moved between worlds not as enemies but as neighbors. Tara stood, her body strong again, her long silver hair moving gently in the wind. "You once told me humans aren't perfect," she said. "You were right. But perfection isn't what changes the universe. Kindness does." Evan looked up at her and nodded. "Kindness and a little bit of stubbornness." They both laughed. the sound echoing softly under the starlit sky. Lily pointed at a bright streak of light shooting across the heavens. "A shooting star?" she shouted. "Make a wish." Tara closed her eyes.
"I already did," she whispered.
And it came true. Evan looked at her, smiling. "Yeah, what was it?" She turned toward him, her eyes glowing softly. "To finally find a place I belong. And under the endless stars, a human father, his daughter, and the alien he saved sat together. Not as strangers, not as enemies, but as family.